we make the sound of the satellite, breaking through gravity. I am Jagger 67. I'm affected, you're selected. I want you with your twisted hair and your lip ring stare.
From the streets of Tokyo to the deserts of Sakhir, the ISR AIC continues. Round 4 of Season 7 takes us to the Bahrain International Circuit, where the heat, sand and sweeping layout present a completely different challenge for this new generation of V8 machines. And after 3 rounds, we have a surprise at the top. Elliott Hall leads the championship. The rookie has taken the series by storm. A maiden pole, a maiden victory, and now the early championship lead. But the margins are tight. Ed Cantwell sits just behind, consistent and waiting for his moment. Marcus Townend and Craig McDonald are right there in the fight, and Joshua Wood, after a strong start, is looking to respond. Further back, the reigning champion Christian Vrazilov has work to do, but with this field, one big result can change everything. Round 4 of the ISR AIC begins with our very own duel in the desert, and joining me in the box today is none other than the magical Craig McDonald.
Thank you, Toby. Hello everyone, it's welcome. Pleasure to be back for this season, first time in the box. And yeah, we are gonna get underway with hopefully the fastest lap from Kevin Jacobs. So here we are, pole position clip from Kevin Jacobs. So we are in the under the beautiful lights of the Bahrain circuit. 15 corners, 6 left, 9 right, and drivers will be going full throttle down the straight before slamming on those brakes into turn 1. I am expecting today turn 1 to produce some chaos with some maybe 1 or 2 cheeky dive bombs, but then as we get back on the gas we go through 2 and 3 before once again flying down the straight as we hit the brakes and we go into turn 4. As we go round we enter the beautiful 5, 6 and 7, coasting through, making sure not to get on the gas too early as we see from Kevin there, so we don't spin that car around before we reach turn 8. Then from turn 8 again, it's just a bit power down before we reach, power down as we get through to turn 9, and as we sweep through, we get to one of my favourite parts of the circuit, the Louvre tight turn 10, and this has to be the best part of the circuit for me, because if drivers get a really good exit, it sets them up for a beautiful overtake opportunity, and we'll see which drivers have the ball to stick it in as we get to turn 11. 11 and 12 link beautifully because it allows drivers to keep the powers down before we get to final sector of this circuit. As we see coming around exit 13, drivers here will be keeping one eye on their mirror as we head down this back straight for any potential overtakes and defending opportunities before we reach and quickly fly through turns 14 and 15, and for one last time we will see Kevin Jacobs put his foot to the floor, racing across the line and hopefully seeing that P1 flash up on his steering wheel. So yes, Toby, we're in for a grand old treat.
That's you are. It's our second night race in the ISR AIC. It's our very own duel in the desert, and let's see what the grid beholds our valiant warriors today. It is obviously Kevin Jacobs taking pole position for the first time since season number 5 in Mugello. He went on to not win that race, but he'll be looking to repeat it today. He's alongside Jack Tolchard, a man who has been steadily increasing in form throughout the last couple of seasons, and we're looking to try battle for his maiden win today. And it's an all NLR 3 and 4 row. They're looking for very good fortune today. It's been a tough start to the season for those two boys. This looks like good opportunities for them. Last time out, Elliott Hall took a fantastic debut victory. He starts in the top 5 again today. Great consistency. He's alongside another consistent championship contender in Marcus Townend, P6. Then it's Philip Blum lining up in P7. He's just ahead of Ed Cantwell, also up there in the championship fight. He'll be looking to move forward a couple of spots on the grid today before the front runners get away from him. Tom McDonald lines up in P9, and Olav Odvin rounds out the top 10. He was fantastic in the rain and master of the adverse conditions. He'll be looking to do the same under the night sky tonight. Jonathan Guerrero looking for his first points of this season. He's starting just on the cusp. He's alongside Gareth Lennon, who will be on for a haul of points here today. They'll both be looking for those points, but more so for Jonathan Guerrero. And then Christian Vrazilov qualifies P8 on the road, but due to his contact with the man starting second today, Jack Tolchard, will have to line up in P13 following his penalty. He's alongside Andrew Revere. Toby Byrne lines up P15. He took 3rd place last time out. He'll be having a lot of work to do. And then Craig McDonald, who won in Sepang round number 2, only qualifies P16. Both of these gentlemen will be looking to make moves throughout the grid. Ryan Hardecker lines up P17 alongside Season 2 champion Josh Martin. He's a long way away from his teammate. He'll be wanting to close the distance tonight. Douglas Anderson, Season 5 champion, is alongside Joshua Wood, who set the season on fire in the opening rounds, but his form seems to have disappeared a little bit. He'll be looking to have some good fortune here today. And then very much against the damage limitation for Colin McAllister and Callum Spencer taking up their final row of the grid. Tough start to the season for both of these gentlemen, but anything can happen in the ISR AIC, and it usually does. At the Bahrain circuit, of course, it's our only Bahrain Grand Prix of this year. You're welcome, Formula 1. And then Bahrain International Circuit is built on the former circuit of a camel farm, believe it or not, and it was Herman Tilke's first ever Middle East project, and fantastic racing it has produced over those years. I'm looking forward to another race here tonight and hoping for the best. So get ready for those 5 red lights. Our duel in the desert under the night sky. It's lights out and away we go, and there's not a lot of traction for anybody off the start-finish grid, but Kevin Jacobs leads comfortably heading into turn 1. Zach Swader looking to challenge Jack Tolchard in the background, and oh, we've had a car looked like it went flying off. I think it's a team disconnect in the background though, but Jack Tolchard does manage to defend off from the attack of Zach Swader as we come thundering through to turns number 3, and it looks like Zach Swader's lost out, but now Marcus Townend is mounting an assault on Craig Evans heading up into the next section. He's on the inside line. The inside line favours him, but the racing line goes wide here, so Craig Evans will have an opportunity as he does to try go around the outside, but it's Marcus Townend who grabs the exit, and now we'll go side by side into the slingshot section. Side by side action and a big slide from Craig Evans. What a save, but that's left him vulnerable to Elliott Hall, who's now looking to go up the inside and claim another place up into P5. And it looks like Craig Evans has had a tricky start. Elliott Hall did temporarily lose a position, but he's back up into the top 5. Last week's race winner, Craig, is on the charge.
What an opening start to this race. Team disconnect going round and everyone sliding here, there and everywhere. So yes, as we see Craig Evans, he seems to have got it back on track and keeping it steady, with hopefully closing in on Elliott Hall right in front of him. But yes, I can see a lot of cars today have gone for the mixture of C3 or C4. So again, under these conditions of the track, we'll have to see how these team tactics play out. As you can see, we're on board here with Philip Blum, just right behind his teammate. Let's see if they can play team orders today, because they will need some points on the board to keep themselves in contention. And as we start moving back further towards the grid, we've got Andrew Pavia in 15, putting pressure, trying to get himself up, keeping himself in contention actually, with Craig McDonald, who will be looking to make a move up the field, Toby, today.
Absolutely, Andrew Pavia down in a lowly position, not where he'll want to be. He had a very good race out in Tokyo, but it's really not coming to fruition, at least in qualifying around Bahrain. But it's a long evening, and we mentioned Ola Bobman was another man not afraid to make moves in the wet last time out. It's a very different set of circumstances for this evening, and he'll be looking to challenge and pressure Ed Cantwell ahead. He has his teammate Philip Blum right behind him, as you mentioned. These two have been going fairly consistently. The points really aren't telling the full story, I don't believe. Philip Blum has had a lot of mechanical gremlins this season, so really not telling the full story in the championship. But the effort by Norwegian American Racing has been impressive this season, and I'm hoping that some results can come their way to sort of validate those efforts and those moves up further the field. Gareth Lennon has moved up into the top 10, but this man, Jonathan Carrera, looking for his first points this season, he's fallen back a couple of spots. He's down in P13, just behind Toby Byrne. They're chasing Tom McDonald. So Tom McDonald's lost a couple of positions. He started in P9 as well. So that could just be he's the second of the C3 runners, and we obviously talked about the difference of the C4 to the C3. C4 offering a bit more grip in these early phases, but the C3 will go the distance, as we have a replay of that fateful start, Craig.
Yes, we're on board here with Team Disconnect Ryan Hardecker, and yeah, he just couldn't get the grip to get from the start, which obviously put him on the back foot. So he is trying to play catch up. Oh, and there's just saw in the mirror, there's someone from behind that gives him a lovely love tap. We'll have to see who that was from behind a second, but he luckily manages to keep it and then get it straight back and going again. So as we get here on Christian Razalov, is he the guy that gives him a lovely love tap? So again, trying to get, sliding and drifting everywhere, just trying to get that grip. So as he puts the foot down, he just gives him a lovely love tap. So I'm sure the stewards will want to be having a look at that one. But yes, it's all from the start, Toby. The grip from the lights out is just horrendous.
Very hot temperatures as we're riding on board with Douglas Anderson, Christian Vrazilov's teammate, going up for a move up the inside of one of the JSRs. I believe that's Cam Spencer. And around we go. They kind of look like he just mounted the curb a little bit too much there. Took a bit too much curb and it's pirouetted the car around. I'd be interested to see that from Callum's perspective, which I assume we will. Yes, we will. Callum Spencer sending it up the inside of a couple cars there, up the inside of Anderson and I believe McAllister. It's a great start from the Welshman. We've said it'd be damage limitation here for him today. He's obviously done that off the start, but what happens in this melee with Douglas Anderson heading up into turn 3? Douglas Anderson coming up the inside, and he does start line. So that's really tricky to call because he starts losing it, and the rear end puts itself in front of Callum Spencer, and I'm not entirely sure what else Callum Spencer could have done there. We'll be interested to see what the steward's view on it, but for me, I think that might be a bit more of a racing incident. Right on board with Toby Byrne, however, P12 coming on to lap 4. He's within DRS, 4 tenths behind Tom McDonald ahead. Really great closing speed here from Toby Byrne, closing, looks to the inside and sends it. Toby Byrne making a move on the inside of Tom McDonald for P11. Can he pull it off? Tom McDonald fights it back, Toby Byrne to the outside, and he gets the better run, side by side on the exit, and they'll have a double helping of DRS to help him with that. Tom McDonald he's looking to come back up the inside to defend that position, but no, the racing line favours Byrne, job done, and now he's under pressure from Jonathan Carrera, looking to capitalise on the out of positionness from Tom McDonald, but no, Tom gets it back on the racing line, and is now a JSR separating the two McDonald brothers, Craig.
Yeah, Macca Motorsport not in the position they want to be this season. 12th and 14th, they want to get higher up the grid. As we see on board with Criminal, he will not be happy where he's sitting today. Sitting second in the Drivers' Championship, 1 point behind Ed Cantwell. Knowing Ed's a few up in the points, he will be wanting to get past these drivers as quickly as possible. But he's still within contention. Hopefully he can make these tyres last, as we see. Or was there some issues there? Or are we going a bit forward to Elliott Hall, who is currently sitting in 7th position. So he's doing really well for Nemesis Racing this season. So he's going to hopefully keep some more points on the board, keep in contention. With Marcus Town is right all on the back of him. And hopefully, as we fly down the home straight, will he have a look? Because he's edging? No, he's not. He's just going to keep it there. So, as we can see there, no further action has popped up. So, obviously, the stewards have looked into investigation. Who's that trying to go around? Andrew Pavia is trying to have a look on Craig McDonald. Does he make it stick? He does. Oh, will Craig fight it back? Does he look for the switch? No. Was there a bit of a tap? Who knows? Craig's looking for the outside, but then Andrew Pavia absolutely pulls it off. So again, as I said before, Craig McDonald will not be happy that he's actually going the wrong way down the pecking order here, Toby.
Craig McDonald, the misery doesn't end there though. He's under pressure from Christian Vrazilov, who's now looking to go side by side with him into the S-bend sector. Can he pull it off? That's a very dangerous place to make a move. Great job by both drivers to avoid contact, but Vrazilov is fended off for the time being. And yes, Craig McDonald needs to get his bearings quite quickly because he's moving back quite rapidly, on that lap. And I think it just shows if you're put offline in those early sections with the move Andrew Pavia made, you're then compromised all the way up to T3, and that can put you in a very tricky position for anyone going to the inside. We have no further action as well for Spencer and Anderson. However, a safety car, virtual safety car, of course, has been deployed. And who is that for, I wonder? We have some smoke up ahead. Let's have a look and find out. And we're riding on board with Philip Blum, and we were talking about mechanical gremlins all season for Blum. Is this another one? Oh, it is. That is heartbreak for Philip Blum. An engine failure in the early stages. He's had no luck this season, Craig, and it looks like it's continued. We're riding on board with Gareth Lennon. Presumably he's going to get a face full of smoke and fire and oil and, yeah, all the rest of it. So, very clean visor will be needed for Gareth Lennon. I'm sure he'll be utilising those tear-offs, but absolute disaster for Philip Blum. He was running up solid just behind his teammate in P9, so putting the work in, and the mechanical gremlins come to fruition once again for poor Philip Blum. And Bahrain very hot even in the night time, and yeah, they've got some issues to work out underneath that Norwegian Racing American machine. It seems cursed a little bit for Philip Blum this season, but racing underway once again. Elliott Hall in P5, he's just ahead of Craig Evans. We can see Toby Byrne is chasing down Gareth Lennon for P9 at the moment. These two heading into turn 1. And obviously nothing doing. Way too far back for any moves at this opportunity. The race will carry on. We're in a bit of a time management phase. We're approaching half race distance, Craig. Goes by pretty quickly around here, but it'll soon be time to be discussing pit stops.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point of call, because you can see on board with Toby Byrne, he does actually currently hold the fastest lap on C3 tyres. So he's managing them really well, managing to get some pace in them. And as you said, we're just below halfway of this race. Who's going to be the first person to make the call to get in and swap them over? As we ride on board with Marcus Townend, he's doing really well to hold Elliott Hall back. And as we go around turn 10, this is what I was saying to you before. If you can get a great exit into turn 10, you have an absolute fantastic opportunity to have a potential overtake or just make the driver in front that little bit wary of like Willie, won't he? And that could then make them into making a mistake. As we ride on board with Jack Tolchard, this guy is flying so far this season. He's sitting in third with 25 points. He will want to add another podium to his tally and get some more points. As well, a little bit further back down to the grid with Craig Evans. He is all over the back of Elliott Hall, so he will want to get some more points on the board. But look, Jack Tolchard. Oh, we have got our first couple of people coming to the bits. Kevin Jacobs has done the call first, and I can see Ed Camwell's come in, Toby Byrne's come in. So yeah, there's a few drivers thinking, that's it, lap 6 was where I needed to be, Toby, and now we will see some new tyres coming into play.
Marcus Townend making the move on Zach Swader for P2. That's compromised Swader, and he's immediately under threat from Elliott Hall, who's gone around the outside. Zach Swader losing 2 positions in 2 corners, and we was talking about how compromised you can be. And there's a big slide. Elliott Hall, a little bit over ambitious there. Ambition ahead of adhesion, almost loses the rear as he gets past Zach Swader and looks to chase after Marcus Townend ahead. He's been hounding Townend the entire race, and I think getting past Zach Swader will want to not be losing touch with him, but Zach Swader looking a little bit out of sorts. He was comfortably riding around in P2 after Kevin Jacobs' pit stop, but he's been caught napping a little bit. He's lost 2 positions in 2 corners, and now he's under pressure from his very own teammate right behind. Zach Swader has not scored a point so far this season. He's really under pressure to do so. The man who finished 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, if you remember, he took Christian Vrazilov all the way to the end of season number 6, and looking really like he's struggling to adapt to these cars. He's under pressure now from his teammate. He's lost those 2 positions, and look how quickly Elliott Hall and Marcus Townend have driven away from Zach Swader. They're around the final corner and gone already, so Zach Swader really struggling for race pace this evening. I wonder if they'll bring him in, or they'll bring Craig Evans in, who's on the softer compound of tyre first, but no, it is Zach Swader obviously has the priority because he's the first man ahead. He can choose to pit first and he'll have that priority, and Craig Evans will be left out on the softer super soft compound of tyre for another lap. We'll have to see how that affects him, and it's already affecting him. Big lock up into turn 1 for Craig Evans. He's now under a little bit of pressure from Olav Odd from behind, and Gareth Lennon's in the hot seat here because he's on the soft compound tyre, which will have a bit more grip than what's left on these very shredded super softs at this stage, as we'll wait for Kevin Jacobs to see if he can come back and reclaim the lead from those who've pitted around him. And I think that's those 2 up ahead, Craig. I think that's Marcus Townend and Jack Tolchard. Have they come out ahead of Kevin Jacobs? Kevin Jacobs has had a very poor outlap, and Jack Tolchard is our new net race leader. And there's even Marcus Townend between them.
He didn't pick up any knocks in the start, because unless the pit crew had an absolute blunder, maybe they didn't know he was coming in, but that pit, he should not be coming out in the position where he is, and he will be absolutely fuming, putting an absolutely corker of a qualifying lap to be on the front of the grid, to then come out where he came out. He will be fuming. So, as you said, we're on board with Gareth Lennon now, who's still piling the pressure. Oh, as we get a bit of a tank drift, slap around that bend. Oh, there's sparks coming off Olaf Upland's car in front. Does he have a... No, is that just a floor hitting the floor, or does he have a puncture? If he had a puncture, he would not be going that fast. He's surely got to be coming in this second to change them tyres. But yes, everyone seems to be on C3s now, so maybe that's the strategy that they felt like was the right call to make. As we can see here, the remaining few drivers that needed to come and pit have all started to come in, so hopefully we might start to see the order sort itself back out again. So here we are on board Jack Tolchard as he comes flying round down the home straight. We will see where he will pick up. Everyone's still in the pits. Will he? He's flying. He's up there. Will he get out in front? It's gonna be tight. Oh, he just got out in front of Elliott Hall, and there was a little bit of contact there from Elliott Hall on town end. But obviously, Jack Tolshard is now leading this race, but Elliott Hall is on these new fresh tyres, and Toby, he will be wanting to gain more than P3, I reckon.
This man is on fine form. He won a very impressive and very convincing race around Tokyo in probably the hardest conditions we'll see all season. And the rookie really brought it to life. Here we see Gareth Lennon is making a move on Zach Swade, and the miseries continue for Swade. Lennon moves up ahead and catches Swade out. Has a little bit of a slide through the S-bends, just for courtesy. And now Zach Swade under further assault. Toby Byrne looking to go all the way around the outside now of Zach Swade. Is he going to pull it off? That's an impressive move if he can, and he does. What a move. Toby Byrne going around the outside of Zach Swade. The man was in the podium positions a couple of laps ago. He's now barely hanging on to the points. P10 for Zach Swade. A miserable race going on for him. The race pace really not there. Maybe a poor pit stop and traffic as well, but he's just falling like a stone as we watch the McDonald brothers under a little bit of pressure from Jonathan Carrera behind. Them two will be following each other through and looking to see if they can capitalise next on the misery of Zach Swade. But needless to say, the McDonald sibling rivalry heating up in that part of the field. We can see Andrew Pavia being chased down by Christian Vrazilov. Andrew Pavia's moved up a couple of spots, I believe. I think not many, but really not anywhere near the points at this phase of the race. Jonathan Carrera and Zach Swade are the only two yet to score points here, and they're so close to the fringes of the points. Zach Swade is just hanging on. Jonathan Carrera is 2 cars behind Zach Swade, so it'll be interesting to see what goes amiss here. Tom McDonald looking like he could be the one to knock Zach Swade out of the points though, getting closer all the time. Nothing happening into turn number 1 as we'll get ready for another assault, Craig, up into turn 3.
If these Maka Motorsport brothers play it nicely, like you were saying, they can make their way up this pecking order together. Once one attacks one, and the Zach Swade in, say, 10th, for example, as we see, I thought they were going to make contact again. Little thank pop up from Tom McDonald, which then does open the door for his brother Craig. Will he make it stick, or will... Oh, and he's gone round. There's contact from Craig McDonald and Tom McDonald. And it looks like Craig is not going to be taking part anymore in this race. Is he going to get it
safety
going?
Boards and flags,
and we've got that safety car coming out. There is going to be big questions in that boardroom in Maka Motorsport at the end of this race, I tell you. We've lost one, and the other brother is now down to the bottom as we ride on board with Craig McDonald. So if I remember it correctly, he has a quick look. He makes it stick. I think Tom gets a little thrifty there, but then they sort of don't back out. Craig, oh no, he gets on the curb. I thought there was contact between the brothers, but there wasn't. Craig tried to make it stick through, caught the curb, spun it round, and that's what I said in the opening. If you catch it, you'll spin it round. And here we are on board with Tom McDonald. You see in his mirror, you can see his brother just on his inside. So he goes a little wider. That's where that tiny little tank stopper comes in, allows Craig to go through. And then just from there onwards, Tom goes round 2. I think that one's all on Craig McDonald, if you ask me. He got on the curb, gave his brother a tap, and they both went round. We lose one Maka Motorsport, and the other one's at the back of the field, though.
Well, it's a red livery. It's the parting of the Red Sea for Jonathan Carrera. Look at this. This is exactly what you want to see as a driver. There goes one. There goes the other. Thank you very much, boys. He was talking about needing to be on the fringes of the points. Couldn't have happened any better for Jonathan Carrera. That is brutal. Both Maka Motorsports collide. The brothers collide. That's going to be a very awkward dinner conversation at the next Christmas dinner, let me tell you. Oh my goodness, big discussions will be had at Maka Motorsport, I'm sure. I'll be very interested to see what comes on the back of that. I'll be interested to see what the stewards think. But green flag, lights out and return to racing, and Josh Martin immediately looking to try put some pressure on Christian Vrazilov, and a little bit of contact between the two former teammates at Simstaff, of course. A little bit of contact made, and Christian Vrazilov comes the better off it. That allows Colin McAllister to be a little bit compromised. Joshua Wood now looking to compromise him, and now Callum Spencer looking to try go up the inside and capitalise on Josh Wood being held up a little bit there, but he doesn't get a very good exit. And side-by-side action as Elliott Hall is... Oh, Marcus Townend! Marcus Townend is going for the race lead. Upside into turn 1. Can he get him on the exit? Wasn't able to pull it off clean and clear originally, but he should have the DRS. And oh, it's a slide on the exit for Marcus Townend. Will that cost him an opportunity? Heading up towards turn 3, it will. Marcus Townend just has to sit and wait for another lap, but there's only 3 laps left to go. Look how close the top 3 are. Kevin Jacobs is only around 2 seconds down the road. You'll just see him in the background if anything goes wrong for these 3, but these 3 battling for it all. It's the top 3. It's all kicking off here in a very hot night in the desert, Craig.
Like you were saying before, if you get put off your line, you are in trouble. So as you said, like you said, these 3, any one of them makes a mistake, there's someone at least around them to pounce on it. As we turn into turn 10, and Elliott Hall will just want to get right on the back of Marcus Townend, and he's trying to do the same to Jack Tolchard. He's trying to stick on the back to him, make that driver make a mistake. And yeah, I think all the action's going to be up here now. I can't see anywhere from 4th catching, but Marcus Townend, if I remember correctly, he pitted after Jack Tolchard, so Marcus should be on fresher tyres. So maybe that in these last 3 laps can play dividend. But yes, now Team Nemesis just try and pull off, like, hang off a little bit so they can bring the teammate into contention to maybe get 2 on the podium. Who knows? Or do they just say, Elliott, go for it, you've got 3rd, put pressure on Townend and see if we can get both these cars on to the podium. But as we come into turn 1, nobody makes a move at all. Marcus is biding his time, Toby, and you know, he's got 2 more laps left. I believe pressure tyres, he could still grab this race win.
Absolutely. Elliott Hall, of course, I believe did at very least pit a lap later than Tolchard and Townend, so I think the tyre advantage for Elliott Hall is about 1 lap, so it'll be interesting to see how he manages that, because obviously he's in the dirty air, won't want to be in the dirty air too much. Tolchard is under constant pressure from the DRS of the 2 behind him, but he has the advantage of clean air. As no further action comes in from the steward, is this clearing the 2 brothers from the contact earlier? It is, so any repercussions from Macca's Motorsport will come down from management, so looking forward to that conversation, to be a fly on the wall in that office before we go next time out. But we can see Toby Burns still chasing Gareth Lennon, who's chasing Olav Obven, who is chasing Craig Evans for P6. Craig Evans looking to bring home a decent haul of points for Northern Lights Racing. It's really not worked out for Swader today, but Evans looks like he's doing a solid job, but he has dropped quite a few positions himself, so I think the Northern Lights Racing boys have very good 1-lap pace, at least around here, but the race pace really has not been there for the drivers, the Season 2 champions, I believe. But yeah, they really had a decent ending to Season 6, but nothing doing so far in Season number 7. Elliott Hall right behind Marcus Townend now with DRS. I think, has Marcus Townend got DRS on Tolchard? He has, so he must have just been within that 1 second buffer when we hit that DRS detection point, which is just keeping him alive from the threat of from Elliott Hall behind him. So this is a little DRS train going on, and this is very stressful for Jack Tolchard. We saw something like this in Formula 1 in Singapore a couple of years ago, Craig, where tactically it might be a better idea to just give Marcus Townend the DRS behind so he can then defend from Elliott Hall, and that prevents the man with the 1-lap tyre advantage from being able to come and attack you. But of course that comes with its own risks, because what if Townend gets just enough of a run to go for the race lead? Very interesting stuff to think about from Jack Tolchard, looking, of course, for his debut win here this evening.
It's all mind games, as we get a little sideways. But yes, Toby, like you said, there's so many tactical positions we can do, as we've got a virtual safety car. Are we going to find out what's happened here? Who's dropping down the pecking order? See, Ed, is that Cantwell in the pits? Oh my, is it Ed Cantwell gets browned on the bend? What happens here? Does he doesn't do a Craig McDonald, does he? I think his left wheel caught the curb and he just spins it round, but then it just beaches it. Oh, something broke. Maybe it was one of the suspensions or something on the left-hand side, because it looked like he caught the curb, and then that just sent him into a spiral as he went round. But this, Toby, will set up an absolutely fantastic last lap. Yellow flag. Will it go green just before the last lap?
Absolutely, Joshua Wood was in a prime position there to have a fight with Colin McAllister, looking to go all the way around the outside on the restart. That'll be an outrageous move if he can pull it off on Colin McAllister. Surely he doesn't let that happen, and he doesn't. He gets the DRS though, and he will have an opportunity coming into that fabled corner, but I'm not sure he has to run out of that corner, and no, nothing doing. Joshua Wood has to concede. Elliott Hall is closer to Marcus Townend though than he's ever been. He's basically pushing him down the back straight, coming out of the final corner. It's going to be heading on to the last lap. Marcus Townend has to just hold on for one more lap. He looks like he's well and truly fallen off the back of the Jack Tolchard train, which has left him vulnerable to this man. Elliott Hall, debutant in season number 7, took his maiden victory in last time out, going up the inside of Marcus Townend to move up a spot on the podium. P2 is the aim. He's going around the outside is the game. Can he get it? Can he get the drive? And yes, he can. Up the inside of Marcus Townend. Will he have anything to respond with? I don't think he does. The one lap tyre advantage has come in clutch for Elliott Hall. He moves up into P18, and what a set of results this could be for the young rookie. This could really help his championship challenge as he moves up into P2, and we go around. I think Jonathan Guerrero might have just retired. That is heartbreak hotel for him. They will go on searching for those first points, but nothing doing on this occasion. Jack Tolchard now leads the way. Elliott Hall isn't far away though, Craig. Could he do anything in the closing stages with that tyre advantage?
It's going to be a risky move. Does he just accept that he is just going to finish where he does, or does he put it all on the line to get them extra points on the board? If it was me, I'd sit where I am and just accept the podium, but we know Marcus Townend, he will not want that. He will be fuming that he's been overtaken on the last lap. But Elliott Hall, he's going to coast it around, and as you can see here, Jack Tolchard, he's got a couple of corners to go. He'd be looking in his mirrors, knowing the boys are behind him, not in a position to overtake. As we come down the back tray, I thought he locked up there for a second. I really did. Comes around the last couple of bends, puts his foot down, and all he will be seeing is a nice checkered flag as we cross the line. Our race winner, Jack Tolchard.
Jack Tolchard finally claims his first ISR AIC victory. We thought it would come in Season 6. The man started his career on pole position in Queensland. He went from strength to strength. He went from heartbreak to heartbreak, colliding with his teammate, having all the ups and downs so far, and it's finally paid off. In a fateful evening in Bahrain, Jack Tolchard takes the race victory, and it is a fantastic victory at that. Elliott Hall, another fantastic drive too, will line up in P number 2. He takes 18 points following a victory in Tokyo. What a day out for that young man. Marcus Townend, consistent as ever though, will pick up a podium. He did disappointed it wasn't more, but he was in the fight, and that's all he needed. Kevin Jacobs will be the man who goes home the most frustrated tonight. Only a P4 after a dominant pole position. Really doesn't know where that pace went, really doesn't know what happened, but I'm sure the Nemesis team will be discussing it. And Craig Evans comes home P5 following that last minute retirement from Ed Cantwell, so it's a healthy haul of points with with P5 earning him 10 points. Olaf Odman P6, another healthy haul of points. Gareth Lennon, Toby Burton, Zach Swider does secure his first points of the season, but considering he lined up on the podium positions, he'll be a bit disappointed with 9th place. And Andrew Pavia, Craig, picks up the last point on offer this evening.
Now, I got to give it to those Northern Lights Racing boys. Obviously, at the start of the race, they were both sitting on 0 points, and they both finished with some absolutely incredible points, so absolutely incredible drive for them. P12, Josh Martin, and then P13, Colin McAllister, he's still searching for the... oh no, he's got 1 point. I thought he was still searching for his first one, but Callum Spencer is somebody that is still searching for his first point, so he will not be happy today. P15, Joshua Woods, as we go down to Ryan Hardecker in 16. Douglas Anderson will definitely not be happy with 17. And then we get into the first of the Macamo Sport, Tom McDonald. He said, Toby, I wouldn't want to be the one at that team meeting afterwards. As we get down to Jonathan Carrero, and then finishing out the last 3, Ed Cantwell, and then Craig McDonald, and your heart aches for him, Philip Blum, falling up the rear.
Yeah, very difficult season so far for Blum, but not for a lack of trying. Elliott Hall is in the championship lead by 5 points to Jack Tolchard, who was today's race winner, and Marcus Townend then is only 7 points behind. So it's really these three a class above the rest after the Bahrain Grand Prix. That could be the beginnings of our title fight, a three-way battle between the three Brits. Edward Cantwell is just behind, scoring no points here today, but retaining P4. Same for Craig McDonald, scoring no points, but he's still sitting in the top 5. Josh Wood is another man. To be honest, Josh Wood, Josh Martin, Christian Vrazlov, all of those guys didn't score points here today. Toby Byrne and Olaf Odvent are the first ones who did, and they closed the gap significantly to the likes of Vrazlov and Josh Martin ahead in that top 10 battle. But yes, Elliott Hall, who would have thought it, the man making his debut, the only rookie on the Season 7 grid, is leading the championship after 4 rounds, and it is a victory followed by a second place. Consistency does not get much better than that, Craig.
You are not wrong, Sam. As we see there you go, Craig Evans, look at that, 16 points, finishing, sitting in 11th. Gareth Lennon on 14 in P12. Andrew Pavia with 13, equal with Kevin Jacobs. Like you said, he will be going home the most frustrated today. Lewis Anderson, 15th on P12, and then we have Tom McDonnell and Ryan Hardecker both on 8 points. Philip Blum sitting in 18th with 6 points. On 2 with Callum Spencer. But yes, Toby, there's movers and shakers. Like you said, there are little gaps starting to form of showing who's putting the championship title already onto the table, as we finish up there with Colin McAllister with 1 point and Jonathan Guerrero finishing off the grid with 0. As I was saying, Toby, you've got the 3 people up in the top 3 showing early contention of a championship winner.
Absolutely, and to put it into perspective, I mean, it very much is the case of these drivers. We'll come back to this in a moment as we look at the team standing. Simstaff retain the championship lead with Jack Tolchard's victory here today, healthy 73, and a very good result for Nemesis Racing Team. Moves them all the way into second place. That's the highest they've been in the championship since they won the championship in season number 4. Scuderia Alitalia RN are just behind them with 62 points in P3. And again, it's a 3-horse race because there's a substantial gap down to JR Mobile 1, who's just a single point ahead of Team Disconnect, who are only 2 points ahead of Maka Motorsport, who are only 3 points ahead of ART West. So the battle in the midfield for the Teams Championship is very, very close. But just to come back to the point I was making, we're starting to see gaps form at the top, but it is still very relatively close. You look at Callum Spencer with 2 points. He's only a single race victory, Craig, next week from being in P5, where Craig McDonnell is with 27 points. So a single race victory, with how unpredictable this championship is, can make all the difference. And it's not disheartening to anyone. We're not even halfway yet until next week. Anything can still happen.
And you're not wrong. Let's see if Callum Spencer can pull out a race victory next week. And you heard it here first. If he does, I've got my money on that one. But no, as you said there, them top 3 teams have got an absolute gigantic gap from GL1 Mobile. Do you know, Toby, it could be anyone's team this year for the championship.
Absolutely. We approach half championship distance next time out in the Czech Republic. Make sure you do not miss it. The championship battle is just beginning. But until then, thank you, Craig, ever so much for joining me in the box. Thank you all for watching once again. And until that fateful afternoon, we'll see you then. Goodbye.